close that door.
Okay.
3, 2.
Nah, leave it open. There's always room for more.
Hey, peace. And welcome back to the Divinity Podcast. I'm your host, Divinity. So lovely to have you here with me. Hey, and thank you for joining me. This is Season 2, Episode 2, entitled Too Far Under the Rug. And the reason I named this episode this way is mainly because for so long, many of us have gone to great lengths to avoid this topic. We dance around it, or better yet, we sweep it too far under the rug, failing to realize that by continuing to sweep it under the rug, we are just covering our wounds that need our full attention in order for us to heal. Because when a wound heals, it starts to blend in with the rest of your skin. Eventually, it fades away. Now, with that being said, the topic I would like to discuss is molestation. Now, this particular topic was one of those topics that I needed to address only because so many of us have suffered from this. Now, I want to be the first to let you know that in no way, shape, or form was the molestation ever your fault. Okay? There was nothing, absolutely nothing that you did to make this happen to you. Now let's be real clear, very, very clear. It was never your fault. Do you hear me? It was never your fault. Okay? Now, do you know how many mothers knew their partner, or whatever you would like to call the scum, touched their child or other children? Knew their child was being molested and called their child a liar? Wow. Then sent the child away with another person because it had to just be the child's fault, and it was their fault that your scumbag of a partner was molesting them. That innocent baby. Oh, sweet child, just doing whatever children do. Playing and lollygagging. And you actually took the word of a molester over your flesh and your blood. Well, beautiful child and or adult whose childhood was just like this nightmare that I'm speaking of, I'm telling you right now, it was never your fault. And every time you go to your cousin's house, hey, and while you're fast asleep, you suddenly feel a hand touching you on the parts mommy and daddy told you were private, and those were your danger zones. Or better yet, your cousin takes you into a room and closes the door and locks it behind them and tells you, treat their private parts just like that little lollipop or that ice pop they bought you earlier. This is a game. Only me and you could play. And it's a secret. Nobody could ever know. And this is what happened when you weren't around for your kid. And never ever will it be your fault. Beautiful child. Beautiful adult. This had nothing to do with you. Just like it was never your fault when your uncle's old lady kept telling you, oh wow, what a handsome stallion you are. Ooh, and what a young man it would take to make me feel like a real woman. 40 years old, saying that to an 11-year-old boy, because you want to turn him into a man, you molester. Yeah, it wasn't okay because he was a boy. No, you, Miss Ma'am, you caused damage to that 11-year-old boy. And I do know some 10 and some 12-year-olds that have the same exact story, but we boast about it. We gloat about it because it's a boy. No, he was taken advantage of too. And I want you to understand, young boy, This was never your fault. No way, shape, or form. Beautiful boy. You had your whole childhood way ahead of you. Now, in no way, shape, or form was it your fault when the preacher or the priest or the church clergy used scripture to justify the sexual contact that they would constantly perform on you or make you perform on them. No, it was never your fault. Understand that these are sick people. And you yourself had no fault in whatever happened to you. Do you hear me? Beautiful child and or adult whose childhood was like this nightmare I'm talking about right now. It was never your fault. Ever. And I understand how family could hurt family. I didn't get that part as a kid, but I'm learning now. But what does it take for you to address the elephant in the room? When Kiki told you Uncle Earl touched her. And as I said in season 1, episode 21, Age of Majority, do you listen to your children when they tell you they don't feel comfortable around certain people? You ignored that, huh? And beautiful child and or adult who had to live that nightmare, this was no way, shape, form your fault. And I get it. This is something most people struggle throughout life with. Because let's face it, this is extremely hard and difficult to heal from. Now, the first step to healing is knowing and completely understanding that, again, this was absolutely not your fault. You had nothing to do with the abuse. Another step to healing is talking to a therapist, someone who's actually a professional at molestation victims. And by doing so, you might lift that rug up so you can see all that hurt that you keep sweeping too far under the rug. And I'm not rushing you. Oh, no, please. Don't ever think that. Because healing takes time. And I hope you take all the time you need to figure it out. The best way for you and to confront the darkness that confronts that pain, that confronts that healing that you so desperately need. That pain is deep. Oh, it's so deep. And I want you to go back to who you were before the pain happened. And I know this is something you never wanted to speak about. However, I'm here. I'm here to tell you that you are not alone. And there are really good, genuine people left out here who want to love you in healthy ways and who want to see you healed from the devastating trauma you had to go through. I believe in you. And I know that by taking back your power, you in turn will help others heal and take back their power. It's a domino effect. You knock one over and the rest come tumbling down. You being healed, help others being healed, and help others face their demons in their darkest moments, and they become the light needed to those who need to hear your testimony. It's worth sharing. I love you. And know that you are never alone. You are a survivor who has finally made the decision to stop sweeping the pain under the rug too far. Now, my job is to feed you. And how you digest it, that's personal. But as for me, and as for mine, it's always forward. Forward always. Until next time. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going.